Hey patrons, thank you so much for your patience. I know I haven't posted since November. It's been 2 seasons of immense amount of change in my life, positive, negative, neutral, all of it. And I know it's been this way for you too, as some of you are my clients and friends as well. So I wanted to make a video just for you guys about going into June and what to expect. As of today, we are out of eclipse season. Some astrologers believe we won't be out of eclipse season until the new moon in Gemini. But it's about a week apart, so it depends on what school of thought. So this eclipse season, the eclipses were on the Taurus-Scorpio axis, which is all about, our relationship. Scorpio is about our relationship with death, with intimacy. It's funny that those two things are ruled by the same area of a chart and the same planets. But Taurus is about our relationship with our values, our relationship with our body, our relationship with our self-worth and the money that we make. I am a triple Taurus, so these eclipses were the one in November was on my moon, and though, this past one we had was literally on my sun. So I could sort of write a thesis about this kind of energy, but really what it all boils down to is we have been shown, and we're still in this Mercury retrograde that ends next week, but we have been shown where we fear and what we fear and how our fears block our ability to truly create what we want, right? And this is something I'm always talking about because it's definitely something that I faced specifically when I became a mother. The fear for that young one's life, the fear that I would, leave them in my own death, So the eclipses showed us what we fear and what we fear letting go of too, a myriad of fears, all the different ways that we can fear. I have made a video on Seeking the Sacred Earth about fear, which I will try to post here at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. But there's also, I have a new perspective on it now that, as I said in that video that I'm in the Seeking the Sacred Earth about fear, oftentimes fear is actually the opposite of love. We think of hate being the opposite of love, but really the opposite of love is fear, and how we can viscerally, it is very difficult to embody our loving nature when we are afraid, and this is where hatred comes from, where we're so afraid of the other, of losing what we love, right? That our fear becomes hatred. At the basis of all hatred is fear. So if we're wanting to eradicate ourselves from toxicity, really we have to start by looking at where we fear, because where we fear is where we end up hating. So I have a new deck, Oracle of the Trees. Thank you, Victor. And I'm going to pull some live, but I pulled these first because I don't know this deck very well. And I'm glad I did, because what we got is 31, the Tree of Porphyry. And we also got the Family Tree. So June off the bat, right, is going to be about our close ties. And it will bring up sort of what's histrionic. Oftentimes when we're in relationships and we have a situation that continues to occur, or a conflict that continues to occur, it can be a situation where it's actually a part of our past, a past lesson we never learned, or something that's unconscious that was rooted in our family, rooted in our early years, can even be rooted in utero. I had the experience where my mom was quite anxious while she was pregnant with me, and in some really harrowing circumstances. And so that pattern began in me, right? It's almost like the body becomes addicted to that adrenaline and cortisol. So if there is a problem that you're facing and it's repetitive, or fears that you're facing and they're repetitive, that these eclipses have brought up, I want you to ask yourself, when is the first time you felt that fear? Because its roots, its origin is in your family tree. And it can be generational, like a generational pattern or a generational curse that is actually the root of the problem that you're facing now. Now, this card can also suggest that we need to be leaning into our familiar relationships, and also if you do have children, to be creating a dialogue with them about their fears and about what they see as patterns that maybe you have instilled in them or not. So June is a great opportunity to really rehash the past in a productive way, meaning bringing up the past, I guess, traumas or problems, but to solve maybe what's bothering you now. Now, this next one, the Tree of Porphyry. So really, the basis of this card is incredibly positive. It basically says, the divinatory meaning would be that whatever problem you're facing, you already have the answer to it. You're perfectly capable of solving it with your mind, your intellect. So you already have the information you need, is what it's saying. Like, you've already caught the pattern. You've already seen what needs to change. But what's interesting about this card, I learned so much as I was reading about it. So this tree is basically symbolic of what it became was a sort of a symbol of categories, meaning like, different species in the tree of life. So this leads me to, okay, so again, I'm always going to relate it back to totems and plants. Where can our totems and our plant allies help us? So we know we have the family tree. I'm going to use that as our plant ally. But let's look at what animal is going to help us move through June with grace, right? With compassion for ourselves and others, possibly with forgiveness. June is like the month of the Geminis. So and we've had this Mercury retrograde in Gemini, now moving back into Taurus, but there's a lot of information in the last 6 weeks in particular that you've gotten, and how are you going to use that information moving forward to create that best life? So what is the animal that's going to help us do that? Whoop. Here we go. We got grasshopper spirit. What a great totem for this. Take a leap of faith, right? Because like this card said, you already have all the information you need to, we have a lot of planets in Aries right now. Venus is in Aries, Mars just moved into Aries, Jupiter moved into Aries during eclipse season. The energy of new beginnings hasn't been this powerful in a long time. And this is saying, excuse me, this is saying you have all the information you need to make these new beginnings. And you can take that large leap of faith because you've been listening to the information that's coming in. Let's see what else this deck says about grasshopper. It's 30. Interesting. 30 and 31. And 3 is the number that actually represents Mercury. So communication is going to be really big in June. Lots of phone calls, lots of emails. And that's good, because in eclipse season, I don't know about you guys, but when the eclipses are moving like they were, I buckle down and get quiet. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos. I just really wanted to insulate. This says, right now you are poised to jump into the next level of your life and move forward into something even better than you could have ever imagined. This is a fortuitous time to take a leap into the unknown. It's an innovative spirit that says, why not? And it has faith in the powers of co-creation. You're being called to trust that this is the right time to go with that idea, that relationship, that situation. Take risks, for abundance in all forms will show up for you. Wondrous things await. You're not going to go backwards, so listen to your intuition rather than your fearful ego. I love it. You can't make this stuff up. Do not listen to the fears that resist the change and the fears that would make you cling worryingly to what was. Luck is on your side. Jump up and forward with confidence, for Spirit has so much in store for you if you only take that leap. I love that. And I really needed to hear that as well. You know, there's a lot of situations in my life that really are calling for me to jump in and fully commit. And I think this is a good time for us to see where maybe we've had one foot in, one foot out, because this card is saying go fully in. Do not be afraid of loss, because you're only going to be moving forward. So we have a ton of luck. This is great. June looks wonderful. Let's keep pulling cards. Okay. So this is an energy oracle deck, which I've used many times with you guys. There it is. So what else do we need to see about June? What other information do we need going into June? June of 2022. What do we need to see? Whoa, whoa. Okay, I'm just gonna take this one. Well. Door to romance. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to mean, and by the way, the other ones that fell was the sun, which is great. You guys, June looks to be wonderful. I just want to say, like, also, like, there's so much anxiety around romance, I feel like, and like partnership in general, whether it's, you know, business or romantic or familial. I really feel like these cards, these energies are saying to us, like, get a hold of your anxiety and let it go, because it's the anxiety and the fear that's getting in the way of what you want. And what you want, they're saying, like, the energy is saying, you already have it. And you have everything you need to keep it. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. So door of romance, okay. This doesn't just mean like romantic. This can also represent, like, are you loving yourself? Are you giving yourself what you would expect the best partner in the world would give you? Where's your level of self-care? Are you taking care of yourself? You know, as a female, you know, some of the things that, like, I know I'm off track when, like, I stop grooming and, like, doing my hair or, like, painting my nails or, like, doing my gua sha. Gua sha, by the way, is like a technique where you're, like, lymphatic drainage of the body and face, which I'm deeply into now. Or, you know, buying myself those flowers, making sure that my home is a sanctuary of beauty and creativity. So romancing oneself is also, we're being called to focus on that kind of energy. You know, when the summer comes, we have that, you know, the heat, things can get very sensuous. I mean, I'm in Georgia right now. It's like literally, I feel like I'm in a rainforest. This is a time to really explore what is romance to you. You know, there's this whole theory like romantic love is BS, and like that's some old school, you know, paradigm that we've been programmed to believe. But my son has been asking this week, you know, what is the strongest thing in the universe? What is the strongest material? What is the strongest whatever? And I just keep saying love, because love has so many forms. But I really feel like romance, whether with self or other or group, or, you know, to even treat the entire universe that is around you as a partner that you love, you know, that's going to affect how you treat your barista. That's going to affect how you treat the person who's packing your groceries. It's going to affect how you treat maybe the people you don't like. But also, where there is love, there cannot be fear. So once again, we go back to this idea of what these eclipses have brought up is what is getting in the way of your ability to love yourself, love others, and love your life. You already know. The eclipses have shown you. And this card begs us to now go deeply into that which we love, to serve that which we love, and to creatively express our love to others in our life. Doesn't get much better than this. Okay, I want you guys, we often do, well, we used to, right? Now we're back in the saddle. And by the way, I'm making this video for just the patrons right now because I'm not sure how I want the oracle readings to go for like everyone. I'm still yet have decided, you know, how creatively I want the good mood to continue to move forward. As you guys know, a lot of you are clients, and I'm, you know, really focusing on this product line that I've been working on for the last year and a half. And it kind of takes up more time when I sit down and like, what do I want to focus on, the product line or doing an oracle reading? It's often the product line. So we'll see how it goes. I want you guys to think of like, you know, the main issue that you're having right now. And let's see what angelic guidance we get around it. Love it when they just fling themselves out. Don't stop. I love it when everything connects like this. So leap of faith, don't stop, keep going. Know that you have everything you need. The only thing I want you guys to continue to really focus on is like, where are the fears holding you back? Because fear is an illusion. Fear is just there to show you how much you love whatever it is you're afraid of losing, right? Or how much you love the idea that you're afraid of jumping into. So we are being called to release our fears. Look at our fears, sit down, have some tea with them or a drink, whatever it is you do. Really get to know them so that you can tell them, thank you for showing me how much I love X, Y, and Z, right? And don't stop. The idea of romance and like, I know there was a while where I was like, I got jaded, I got bitter and was like, I don't believe in romance anymore. I don't believe in love anymore. But my God, when I was 14, that was all that existed. And there was so much energy and creativity that came from that. We're being asked to go back to that place. Like, can you let go of the bitterness and the judgment of what your experiences may have created, like this armor that stops you from being able to experience that energy that is ultimately youthful and how we describe it. That high vibrational, drunk on love. And again, I always want to pull it back to, it's not always about the other person. How much can you love yourself? And how much can you love like all of existence, the good, the bad, right? There's so much going on in the world right now, and as there always is, but where can you find places to fall deeply in love with life? Okay, we're gonna do a couple of tea leaf cards just to get some more specifics. What else do we need to see for June? New home, new attitude, the broom. So this leads me to something around, this eclipse season and how we can use the eclipse energies. It is a great time to declutter, to let go, to get rid of old stuff. Maybe there's even things in your home that remind you of trauma, that remind you of past heartbreak or failure. Time to let those things go, right? You want your home to be reflecting to you the energies you want to be embodying. And it really is our temple, our sanctuary. So what do you need to clear out of your home to have more clarity, to have that room to be creative? I know for me, the house has got to be clean for me to be able to sit down and feel artistic and creative. So what do you need to do to clear out room for this creative, loving energy that's coming in? We got fair man, dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. So that's going to be significant in June. I mean, look, this can even be Biden, And then it says November. So interesting, this comes up as November. November is where we had eclipses as well on this axis. And we had a little break. And then this past month, we've had eclipses that are same thing, Taurus, Scorpio axis. So really whatever we're dealing with right now that this eclipse season has shown us was also a part of our experiences in November. So really we've had it's like this 6-month trajectory showing us where we're getting in our own way by being afraid. And I just want to bring up that base fear, like the fear of death, and how the fear of death is really it's what ends up creating the war, the conflict, the horrors that we see. Because really, especially in our culture, we don't know how to talk about it. And certainly when other people die, once the funeral's over and it's done. And then we're all left to grieve on our own. So I think these eclipses, because, Scorpio represents death and how we handle it and how we look at it, I want to encourage you guys to spend some time thinking about your relationship with life and with death, and how you view what death is, and how do you define it, and what is your relationship with it? Because it's your relationship with death is also your relationship with Creator, however you define that. So I feel like this is enough food for thought for June. And I am so excited that we got such positive energy coming in. And you can access that within yourself and around you as well. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking with me as I've gone through so many transitions. I do hope this was helpful. Please comment on it. Let me know how you guys are doing. I am, working with clients right now because I'm currently not acting. And that means I have time for you guys and hopefully more time for these videos as I work on the product line. Again, thank you guys so much. Bye.